All right, folks. Good afternoon. My name is John Skees. I'm the director of media for TAPS. Thank you for joining us today for our spring esports information session. I'm joined today by Rhonda Smith, who is the TAPS director of Fine Arts, which esports falls under, and also joining us from PlayVS is Jacob Hernandez. I'm going to hand it over to Jacob in just a second. He's going to run you through all the information that you need. But a couple of things before we start. We are recording this presentation, so if you have to drop out, if you couldn't be here or you know somebody who wasn't here, we're going to make this available on our YouTube page, and we'll have a link to that on the TAPS website later today or early tomorrow when we get started. If you have questions, hold those till the end. We're going to have a brief Q&A session, at which time I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, ask your question, or type it into the chat. Please keep yourself muted as we go, just so we don't have background noise or people wandering in and out of offices being a distraction. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rhonda real quick, and then Jacob will take us away.
Hey, John. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the spring esports informational Zoom call. We're excited to give you this information. As you know, there's been a little bit of a change. We had Vanta, and then now PlayVS has taken them over, and we had a contract with them. So we're honoring our contract, and we're working forward into the spring and everything. And we will keep you guys posted on this. But I'm so glad that you're here. We're excited to get this season started because I know the kids are getting ready and they're anxious to get back, especially after if they've been any of the snow days. They're ready to get going. So thank you, Jacob, for being here today. Jacob is from PlayVS, so I am going to send it over to him and just pay attention to everything, and he's going to walk us through how to get through esports for this spring. Jacob?
Awesome. Thanks, Rhonda. Well, yeah, thanks everybody for being here. This is something we're really excited to get kicked off. So, welcome. And I think one of the big things here too is we want to make sure that you have all the information to succeed for this spring. So I'm sure you have a lot of questions. I'm going to try to cover as much as possible during the presentation. At the end of the deck, then we can start going into questions and all that type of stuff. But to kick it off, so what are we going to cover on this call? So first off, we're going to do a quick introduction, talk about a little bit more about the announcement, about PlayVS, about myself, and then we'll go into esports competition. So what to expect for the spring, what are the dates, what are the games, and how to get signed up to. And I think one of the big things too is covering what's new and exciting about this new partnership. So you get to go and see like a little bit more about the partnerships that PlayVS has with things like the NFL and different entities kind of across the United States as well as North America too when it comes to esports. Then finally, we're going to do a demonstration. So how to get signed up on PlayVS, because I think that's the big thing that to take away from this meeting itself. Just make sure you get signed up, enroll your students so you can get scheduled out for the season and compete. So just to do a little introduction about myself. So my name is Jacob Hernandez. I've been with PlayVS actually for almost 5 years. So I've worked kind of all across the country, helping hundreds of schools start their esports programs in both the classroom setting and competition. I'm also from Central Texas and I live in Austin, but I'm currently in Kansas at their first state championship. So it's a bit exciting, but I've been working and I've worked with Rhonda and a lot of the schools from TAPS in the past too. So this is the big announcement. So PlayVS has acquired Vanta. So what does that mean for you? The big thing, go on to PlayVS and sign up your teams. We're going to start running through a little bit more about like what the times look like, games and all that type of stuff. But I think the big thing here is we've been working directly with Vanta to make sure this is as successful as possible and that TAPS succeeds this first season. I think the big thing here too is this is the foundational season. So this one, we're going to really work to make sure that y'all are as aware as possible on how the PlayVS platform functions, how everything works, how to get your kids signed up and all that. And then we'll continue to expand season after season just to make sure that we're all in the best position possible. So what is PlayVS? PlayVS is the largest amateur esports platform in North America. So we work with every single state, Canada, and then also some of the US territories too. So this is kind of fun. You actually have a chance to start going and competing with people around the country, which is really, really awesome. But not only do we have a platform that works through all that. So it's kind of like your LMS for esports. We also are a people. So myself, I work with all the schools in the state of Texas, but then I also manage a couple different departments with PlayVS. So we work directly with all the schools just to make sure you're ready to go, make sure that if you have any questions, they're answered. And then we also have a group of live operations specialists, which are kind of like our referees, where on game time, when you're competing, if somebody accidentally sets a timer to 2 minutes and 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes, they will jump in, look at what's going on, and make a ruling too. So we're really your team to work through the league, the season, the competitions, and then kind of anything when it comes to esports, including curriculum, coaching resources, and all that type of stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the competition. So this is what to expect for this upcoming season, and then also talking a little bit what we're going to be doing for the fall and moving forward too. So with this, dates. Make sure to screenshot these. Very, very important. So preseason has actually officially started. That being said, preseason, totally optional. You don't necessarily have to do it. We recommend that you do it. So if you're ready to go, you want to compete right now, go ahead and sign up on PlayVS, enroll your teams, and then you'll start getting scheduled for the preseason. And I'll go a little bit more in depth in what the preseason itself looks like, as well as the regular season. But I think that's the big thing here. Just make sure you go on, sign up, get signed up, and then we will actually schedule you out for the entire season. You can see regular season, it kicks off the week of the 9th of February, and then we will have an 8-week season. You will be able to select your spring break week 2. So that means you press the button, say, we don't want any games that week, and then it will not schedule you there. So that's one of the big things. And then we will have playoffs as well. So playoffs, the length of them really depends on just the amount of teams we have in each game, and then also each league too, with championships happening in April. Also, one thing that you can do too, you can do scrimmages any time of year. So if you wanted to do them over the summer, you could do scrimmages on a Sunday if you really want to. I don't know if you necessarily want to, but you can. But scrimmages are one of those things that you can go on and kind of do throughout the season. So the games themselves. So I think this is the big change just to keep in mind as we're looking forward for this season, as well as future seasons moving forward. So right now we have a high school league open for Super Smash Brothers solos. So this is going to be Thursday at 4:45 p.m. So right now you can go on, sign up all your kids, and it's already on there. So you'll see that one as a school that says this is the official TAPS League. So that's the one that we've already put in place. With the other games that we're about to go over, we're going to be checking the numbers to make sure that we have healthy leagues as we open up more TAPS leagues. So one of the big things is if we're looking at Rocket League, if we only have like 4 teams signing up, we don't want an 8-week season where people are playing the same teams back to back to back. So one of the big things as you are registering, if you do plan on playing any of the other games that we're going on, just sign up for them. We're actively looking at the numbers on the schools that are participating and seeing where we can expand and consolidate leagues from there. So that's the big thing. Just keep in mind, if you plan on playing any other esports, just go on, sign up. And then if we have enough teams, we're going to move it into an official TAPS league. So that's one of the big things there. As far as other titles that are being offered, so we do have a wide variety of titles. So you can see everything from Madden, Overwatch, Splatoon, Street Fighter, Rocket League. These are all available for you, and you can sign up for them. So if there's any games that you've been wanting to sign up for, just go on, register, and we're tracking the numbers to see where we can start expanding different leagues besides just that Smash Solos league that we set up. And we'll go in a little bit more depth into that because you do actually have some options on game times when you are registering too. So next, middle school titles. So this is another change, is one of the things with middle school specifically is middle school is going to have titles that are specific to their age group. If you have a student that's 13 and wants to play up into the high school with some of the other game titles like Overwatch or something like that, just make sure that you do that kind of on your own and you let us know too. So that's one of the big things there. If you do have 13-year-olds that want to play any of the games that are at the high school level, but they're in middle school, they can play up to a perspective as long as it's not impacting their varsity status or anything like that. So that's one of the big notes here too. And with that, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's next and what's new. I think one of the big things here is you can see that the middle school, we did decrease a little bit on the amount of games that were offered at the middle school level, just with when everything goes from PlayVS Devanta to be fully transparent, whenever PlayVS looks at a lot of these game titles, there's two big things that we look at. First, can we offer it? So can we build the platform from a software perspective to do that? And then also, is the game developer compliance with certain compliant laws in the state of Texas and the United States too? So as far as other games being offered for the spring, these are going to be the main ones, but we are evaluating any of the other games that y'all have been previously playing as an option for the fall season. We just want to make sure we do it right and we don't break any privacy laws. So just a heads up there, that's one of the big things, and those are going to be the games for this season. So next, the PlayVS platform itself. And I'm going through a couple things on here on a demonstration of the platform, but truly it does everything for you. So you're going to have everything from records. You can even see a practice day that we have every single Monday where you can jump in there. And then it also does record game statistics too, which is really, really cool, and we can go through. So this is one of the big things for those of you that may have played on PlayVS before, some updates in the past couple years. So we actually actively record stats throughout the season. So this is part of our Arkansas Regional Rocket League, but you can see that you can go on and see the goals per shot percentage. You can see the score per game of the students that are competing. So we do work directly with some of these game developers to have an API to pull all that information. So if the student wants to go to college, copy, paste, boom, right? They can go and say, I am the number one in the state of Texas in the TAPS League, which is really, really cool. Another thing, Rocket League specifically, if anybody wants to do that one, we actually have an API that will send a direct invite provided your students connect their accounts on PlayVS. So that means coaches, instead of going back and forth with the other coach on what the game lobby is, invites are just sent. Same thing with League of Legends too. But that's one of the really cool things that we do have, and I'll go over that a little bit more in depth. And then another thing that we want to go over too. So partnerships. One of the things with PlayVS that we do is we work with third-party organizations across the country. One of them being the NFL. We've been working with both the Cowboys and the Texans, who have been distributing prizing for our Madden competitors and also doing site visits too, which is really, really cool. And last year, I do have to say it because we had a Madden tournament and it was in person, and the Cowboys gave us a Dak Prescott signed football and the Houston Texans gave us a Tank Dell signed jersey. And the winner of the Madden championship got to pick between the two, and they picked the Houston Texans Tank Dell signed jersey, which was kind of hilarious. We took a bunch of pictures and then sent it to the Texans, and they absolutely loved it. So there's a lot more opportunities outside of just the league itself to do this. But I'm going to show you this quick video on our youth championship in Madden, because this is one of the really cool ones. We've been sending kids to Pro Bowl who've been winning competitions, and this year it's actually the Super Bowl. This opportunity's got to be
once in a lifetime for the kids.
We are here at the Pro Bowl for the Madden Youth Championship first finals from our fall season 2024. We have always had kids across the country playing the Madden game, representing their schools in our esports leagues, but to have the first officially sanctioned EA and NFL Madden Youth Championship makes the competition in Madden in our network extra special.
The NFL is excited to have partnered with PlayVS, and there really wasn't anybody else that we wanted to partner with for this Madden Youth Championship.
The feeling in the building today is incredible.
To see what it's like to be on the stage, to see the professional athletes, the cheerleaders, the mascots, the esports players, just an awesome event for them, just to see what they could be one day.
It doesn't matter what you look like, what your favorite sport is. It brings in so many different kids, and it's pretty cool to see.
Cool opportunity for people who may not have the opportunity to play other sports. I'm really excited to get this going.
And he throws an interception. These guys are super good. I can tell they're excited, but they're definitely nervous too. And he's out of bounds! Oh my goodness! And our Madden Youth champion is Michael Murrin.
We brought in esports, and it just increases our population as far as attendance, GPA, and the atmosphere of our school just get uplifted.
As the leader in esports platforms in this country, there was no other choice but to work with PlayVS.
Yep. So that's just one of the really exciting partnerships that PlayVS does is with Madden. We work directly with the NHL too. So if you're a hockey fan, guess what? You can compete in some competitions for that too, as well as some of the game developers and hardware vendors too. So a lot of the game developers will have kind of one-off tournaments, whether it be in a slow time, like after championships over the summer, before the season, or even sometimes mid-playoffs, just to give people a chance to engage if they didn't end up making playoffs. So we've done everything from Pro Bowl tickets, Super Bowl tickets, headphones, computers. We've done a bunch of stuff. So keep a lookout for that. Those are always popping up kind of throughout the country and also in person too. So that's one of the big things too. And then finally, PlayVS does also offer a bunch of different things. So we offer everything from curriculum, coaching resources, just to go over that. So if there's things outside of just competition that you're looking for, please reach out to us. We're kind of your full service esports provider. And then the next part, sign up. So totally free. Feel free to go on here, copy and paste the link, go on the PlayVS platform, and you can follow along for the next section where we'll start going over exactly how to register. So I'm going to not do like a full nitty gritty of the platform. Like, you don't need to know how to add a profile picture or anything like that. But I think the big thing is the sign up and then some of the statistics tracking that are on there. Before we jump into the demonstration, are there any questions specifically about the events? And feel free to throw them in the chat. We'll give it a couple minutes too for those questions.
Yes, you mentioned that preseason has already started, but it's pretty obvious that almost no schools have signed up yet. Is there any way we could push it back a week, or you guys could push it back a week so we can get a preseason going or something?
Yep, definitely. So that's something that we've already talked about with our live operations team on what specifically we're going to do just when Vanta is now brought on board. So our enrollment deadline is pushed back. So that's one of the big things. If you do need to enroll past the official deadline, which is the 6th, you definitely can. So definitely just reach out to me and we can help push you through if you needed to push back a little bit. Good question.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know you said the enrollment period is pushed back, but is that also lengthening the preseason schedule? Because it seemed like that was just kind of glossed over.
Preseason is set. So this week and then next week are preseason. And then the week after that, that is the regular season. One thing I will make a note of, and I can show you a little bit how to do it, is as you're selecting break weeks, you can select the first week, which gives you a little bit farther too. So there are some options on there, and we could definitely explore it because I know every school's a little bit different.
Okay. So just to be clear, if you do sign up on the 6th, you have to use your one break week or else you take a loss on that first week. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that is correct. Yep. Or buy. That's one of the things is we are handling on a case-by-case basis too. I just don't want a blanket statement. It's not going to be a forfeit because if somebody has connection issues or something like that, it will be handled on a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Just wondering. All right.
Yep. And if you do have to enroll, just send us a little bit of context on like what's going on too, and we can help push through that too. Great question.
Question here. In the past, we've used PlayVS, but there used to be a cost associated with getting a team going and everything. Has that not been removed?
Yep. So for the past 2 years, PlayVS has been completely free on competition. So any of the competitions that you offer, you just go on, sign up, and it's totally free. You can thank the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys for that. So, or the Texans, depending on which way you lean.
Jacob, we do have some questions in chat.
Yep. Okay, let's run through those. So great question. So anything when it comes to moving on dates, that's something that we'll start exploring once we get a better idea of how many TAP schools are enrolling in certain games. So over the next couple weeks, as y'all are signing up, we're actively looking at the numbers to see where we can move around certain games to make them TAP's official games or adjust the day. So if you're planning on playing chess, sign up. It is going to be on Wednesday. And I will say, if we don't get enough teams to make an official league, then it will still be on Wednesday too. So good question there. And then we have a couple more. So let me read through them. Good question. So games are officially set, Rick. So all the games that we're offering, they are going to be available. So you can go on and do that. NCAA specifically, that one we have more events with than a full season. So we'll have kind of, I believe it's 2 events throughout the course of the spring season where you can go on and sign up, but Madden is the official league for that. Then I see a couple more. Street Fighter 6 crew and solos. Okay, so for the game formats themselves, those game formats are going to be set as well. And we can go over that a little bit more in depth just to get a better idea. But as far as game formats, competitions, those are already officially set for the season. And I think one of the big things here is you're looking through like what you want from the TAPS League moving forward. take a note of it. So this is really a foundational season just to make sure that we gather as much information as possible, open the correct leagues, and then in the future we can start adjusting opening leagues, formats, and all that type of stuff. Great question.
Thank you for responding. I was the one who posted that question. I came in late. Sorry, I've got my esports teams in here right now. But no, it was because when I use the link, that is, I already have a site. I've enrolled teams, most of them.
Yep.
But when I go in there on my end, it only offers the crew. But when my student is standing right next to me and he goes to the link that I've shared with him to create an account, it offers the solos. So there's a discrepancy. It's not, he's not going somewhere else to look anywhere else. He's literally using the link that he posted. That was my question.
No, good question. So with
or
that
it needs to be corrected. So
yeah, and there could be something just on the back end that's marked with your school and only giving them visibility for that. So if you could send me a quick email after this, we can go and investigate it too, because that could just be a press of a button to enroll a league. So good question. Okay, I'm going to go through a couple more of these, and then we're going to go through the demonstration of how to get started here. See a lot of chess fans. Awesome. And then times too. So that's one thing that we'll show as well as we're going through the registration is being in the state of Texas, we do actually have some flexibility on time. So I'll show the different leagues that are available for that. So a lot of our regional times are 4 p.m., but in the state of Texas, you do have a 5 p.m. option and then one other one too. Gran Turismo. So that is one of the big things. Any games that your kids are like, hey, we want this one, take a note of it because we're always adding games. I think that's one of the big ones. And one being Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals, that was one game that we had people knocking down our door. So we got that started. So I think that's one of the big things too, is as you hear stuff from your kids, share it with us so we can start working with the game developer just to make sure everything's good to go. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to go through a quick demonstration of the platform itself. So let me pull the screen share. And really the big thing that I'm going to go through is how exactly to get signed up. So forgive me, I do not use Zoom often, but I'm going to make sure that we got y'all in the right place. Okay, perfect. So this is the login place. The sign up procedure, pretty standard too. I would say the big thing, if you're new to Play Versus, just to think about is as you're signing up, we do actually verify employment for all of the coaches. So if you are going to be signing up, have some sort of verification, whether it be a school ID, just so we can make sure that the coaches are actually working at the school. That's one of the big things. If you do have volunteer coaches, not a big deal. That's just as simple as sending one of us an email and saying, hey, this is our volunteer coach. They need access, and we can just greenlight that account. Okay, perfect. So now we are on the Play Versus platform itself. Again, there's a lot of cool things you can go through here, but the big thing here is just making sure that y'all have the tools to get signed up and then also know what a game looks like itself. So this school right here, it's a fake school. As you sign up, it'll prompt you to do certain tasks. So we have things like the coaching handbook, the esports program checklist, the create a team. It'll walk you through the process, which I think helps a lot. But then one of the things too that you can see down here is this sample school that I'm using. They've actually already signed up. So you can see that they do have matches that are already on the schedule. So as you sign up, if you're like, I don't see any matches, you may have missed a button to enroll your teams. So one big note there too is preseason is a queue system. So you can see here, there's a question mark. Only during preseason or your first game, it'll be a queue. And then it will start officially scheduling your matches. So what a queue does, and I'll show you a little bit more too, you open the match itself, and then you find an opponent at whatever time that you officially roll in. So that's only for preseason and your first match, and it's just kind of a test to make sure you're ready to play on game day. So big couple things. We'll go over to the student side. So my school, this is where you manage all your students, and you can go on and see when people actually actively register. So big thing here, you can see players that are over the age of 13, you can copy and paste a link. You can send it directly to their email. Honestly, easiest thing here, If you have Chromebooks, anything on campus, just have them go to the PlayVS website and sign up all at the same time. Makes it a lot easier so you're not having to track people down and get them to register. With students that are under the age of 13, the parents just need to greenlight their account first, and they have a little bit of administrative access over that. So that's one of the big things there. If they are a middle schooler, you just send it to the parent first. The parent goes, signs off on their account, and then they should be good to go. So as you sign up to, the students will start popping up in this players tab. So I'm going to click this. Being as this is the fake account, I haven't had any, but you can actually go in and start seeing when students sign up. This is one of our customer service representatives too, by the way. He's the only player on this account. But as the students go on there, you just say, verify, verify, verify if they are going to be actively competing in esports. So that's one of the big things. The kids do need to create accounts. And what's cool about that, they get to see their performance data throughout the season and throughout their entire esports career. Next part. So getting officially signed up. So you can see here, you want to go over to manage teams on this left side. This is where you do everything when it comes to signing up your team. So let's say we want to sign up our Super Smash Brothers solo team. So you'll go on here, you'll click Super Smash Brothers, y'all will have a solos one, and then you type in whatever team name. And I'm just going to randomly press in letters because it's a fake account. And you can always change your team name too. So you go on, create your team, it'll load, it'll start populating the team that you just created. And I will say I have way too many fake teams on here. I probably need to delete a couple. They're all random letters. But as you start creating your teams, you can then go on and add the players onto there. So you can add players as they sign up. One of the big things, your players do need to be on the roster before you compete. So you just need to make sure you have a full team that's available on the day of competition. One other kind of cool feature I will mention is there is a way to promote students to captains on the PlayVS website. What that does is it gives them the ability to do some admin stuff that some of the other students can't. So they can adjust rosters, they can move people from and to the bench, they can go into the queue and start the queue too. So highly recommend getting team captains just to distribute a little bit of the work for you on your end. Last thing on the sign up part. So whenever you create your teams and you're ready to go, you can do this before you even get the kids on here. So I highly recommend, if you're ready, go ahead and do this. But you click here, and you can see I've created a bunch of like random teams on this account. But let's say we're doing Rocket League. What you'll do is you'll select the league that you want to enroll in. This one's in Arkansas. I'm going to go over to Texas schools so you can see a little bit more. And then you'll scroll down, you select the break week, and then you update the enrollment, and that will officially register you. I'm not going to do it because that will officially schedule this account, by the way. Last thing, let me just go back. I'm going to switch to an actual school now. So a school that is actively competing and signed up on the platforms. Let me go over to that.
I just signed up, so you can use mine and
yeah,
make sure I did it right.
Yeah, I'll have to go on the back end and actually add myself as a coach, so it may take a little bit longer on that. But yeah, so I'm going to switch over to this school right here, South Texas ISD. South Texas ISD is actually one of the best district programs in the entire country. So this coach, I know very well. I know their district esports director too. She's absolutely awesome. So I'm not going to change a lot on this because she will probably text me and be like, Jacob, why did you adjust things? So you can see that they had actually already signed up. So you can see they officially have their matches scheduled. They do have the question marks, everything right here. So whenever they're ready to queue up, you open the match, you find an opponent, and for this one, it may give you a couple errors if you don't have your team roster filled. So this is one of those examples that'll actually remind you if you need to get kids on there. But that's what it looks like. And then one thing on the enrollment side, because Texas schools, it looks a little bit different because everybody has some options. So you can see right here, we have a bunch of different leagues that are available. So if there is a specific time that works better for you, you can go on and select this. So for instance, we have with Mario Kart, you can play Thursday at 5 p.m. You can play Thursday at 4 p.m. or you could play Wednesday at 5 p.m. So there is some flexibility depending on what best works for your school. And that's one thing after I'll send over the schedule so you'll have it. So you can go on and see if there's certain leagues that work a little bit better for you too. So last thing that I'm going to show you, and then we're going to start diving into questions, is the leagues themselves and how you can track performance. So this is one of the really cool things that I will say about PlayVS and some of the recent updates is you can actually go in and see the performance of the teams. So right here, we can see that Lakeview Centennial High School in this regional league specifically was ranked #1. They did not lose whatsoever. And I may have to switch to a different tab to show this to y'all. So give me a second. Okay, perfect. So with this, you can see this is that team that they've been competing in, and we're going to go to their fall 2025 performance. So what's cool is you can see who is the team captain on their team, so you can actively scout who you're going to be competing against, and it'll show their win percentage in Super Smash Brothers, for instance, of the battlefield. So if they're playing, or stage, excuse me, so you can go in and see like, oh, Smashville is their most played stage. So if I'm striking stages throughout the course of the Smash Brothers process, I'm probably going to strike the one that they've been competing in, right? So you'll be able to do that to strategize. And then you can also see what characters that your opponents have been competing against too. So you can see, for instance, Noah, they've been playing as Pikachu for 26 games and they have got an 85% win rate, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to try to pick a character that goes against Pikachu. So that's kind of one of the really cool things as you're competing is you can actually go in, scout, and plan accordingly based on that too. So that is the demonstration of the platform, and we are going to go to questions in just a second. But first off, let me switch back over here. And then I think one big thing is with this season specifically, this is really the foundation setting season as we start progressing forward in esports. So Super Smash Brothers is for high school is going to be the main game available as you see for taps. But if there are certain games that you want to compete in, just make sure you go on and roll because we're actively looking at the numbers to start expanding leagues based on the amount of teams that do sign up. I think one big thing here too is we're really excited about this. And if there is anything that you need, like after this call, please reach out to me. I do manage a couple different departments here at PlayVS, but I do also work directly with all the Texas schools just because the past 5 years I've been working directly with all the Texas schools and districts. So definitely save my information. If there's anything that you need, please reach out to me. And if there's anything that is very school specific too, like if we need to go on, adjust your account settings or anything like that, just let me know afterwards so we can get through that. And then with that, we're going to start jumping into questions. And I'm going to start reading through the chat as I see a couple ones. Okay. So how does PlayVS verify our employment? Great question. So we actually use a third-party service that's an employment verification service. So really what you do, you submit your school ID. We send it to that third-party verification, similar to how like other places verify your employment, and then it comes back to us and we approve your status on there. If you were previously verified, yep, no. So if you're already signed up on the PlayVS platform, you should be good, even if it's been a couple years. In-person championship. Great question. So a couple different things there, and then also the national one, I see that too. So we do host a bunch of in-person stuff all throughout the country. So I know one of the big ones is at Baylor. So that's one of the big things that we're talking about. So anything that Vant has done in the past, stay tuned for those in-person events and just more updates on that. But I know that one specifically, I think is at the same time that we're doing like another one. So that may make the tournament even bigger. So great question. National tournament too. Anybody who is winning in their league and then runners up do get invited to the PlayVS Cup. And that's a national championship where you can compete with the best throughout the entire country, which is really, really exciting. There's scholarships attached. We have college scouts and all that type of stuff. Then I'm just going through the chat. Great question, Corey. So I can pull up the, after we go through some of these questions, I'll pull up the different leagues where the games are too, so you can have a better idea of that. And then we'll send the official schedules too. Okay, we have one about registering for the regular leagues now. Correct. So right now, if you're planning on playing any of the esports, go in and register for whatever league works best for you. As you register, we are checking pretty much on a daily basis once we start getting closer to the season on what leagues we can start to expand or contract to. So if Taps has enough for Rocket League, we're going to open up Rocket League. If we have enough for Mario Kart, we're going to do enough for Mario Kart and all that type of stuff. Different times listed. Okay, great question. So reschedules are also done on the PlayVS platform too. So the match itself, when it opens up, let's say you have to reschedule, you can go on there and request a reschedule with the opposing team on the match lobby itself. So it's all done through the platform. We track it, and then we look at that too if there are anything like conflicts of schedule and all that type of stuff. Am I going to be at TCEA this weekend? I wish. I am in Kansas for the first in-person Kansas State Championship, and it is going to be 2 degrees on Saturday when the championship is. So it's I went from one freeze to another, moving from Austin. Okay, just posted a link to my picture. Okay. Correct. Yeah. So whatever game time best works for you. If you are looking at that regional league and you don't have the taps available one, if you're looking at Rocket League, just go on there and sign up for it. So we're tracking to see which schools specifically in taps are signing up for those leagues, and then we'll expand the leagues from there. And then we've got one more question. Then Hunter, I see your hand up, so we can take a live one after this one. Yep. Yeah, Rick. So after this, I'll pull up just all our help center where it has the different schedules with the different leagues, games, and what days and all that type of stuff are on. And then Hunter, we can jump into yours before I get over to that. No worries. It may have been an accidental one, but let me get on our help
Oh,
center.
sorry, I was muted.
No worries.
So I do see that y'all are, I understand that y'all are, I guess, taking like a census or like a poll of what top schools are signing up for what games
Yep.
to figure out, what other games we want to support for like the top specific league. However, you're telling us to sign up for any of the leagues for that. And for like our school specifically, we were the time schedule fit really well for us with starting at 4:45. So if it's possible, we would probably be, if TAPS allowed it, be signing up for that mountain time. So it started at 5 p.m. Central. However, if this is swapped over to a TAPS league, is TAPS going to be starting at 4 p.m. Central? Is it going to be starting at 5 p.m. Central? Is that taken into consideration? Because, and then also the days, because with the days, like my students, we played on Thursday for Valorant, for example. That's the day that they play. That's the day that they signed up for at the beginning of the school year. And now seeing that Valorant is on Wednesdays, that gets in the way of things such as like youth group. And I have seniors on this team that have been working their tail off all season or all season and the years prior to play in these games, and they're really starting to get the hang of it. They feel like they can make a deep run this year, and if it's on a Wednesday, I honestly do not know if my team can play, and that's 4 seniors that I have to tell, hey guys, game days changed out of our control, and your season's over for the rest of the school year.
No, it's done. It's done. We're just in the Q&A now, but yeah.
Hey, sorry.
So, but I'm excited.
You
Like, it's gonna be cool. I can finally, like all the promises I made these guys will come true finally. Yeah.
Hey, sorry, excuse me. You unmuted.
So good question, Hunter. So
yeah.
I think the big thing here is, like, as we're looking at this season specifically, it's truly a foundational season. And I mean, to be totally candid and transparent, this time, very, very quick, right? So the turnaround, a lot of us learned last week. So we're doing our best we can to accommodate the schedules. But I think the big thing is when we're looking to start expanding leagues, we're going to look to TAPS as well as what the schools specifically are looking for. So if we have like a majority of schools that are signed up for a specific time, we'll definitely take that into account as we start expanding leagues. And then one thing too that I think will help a little bit here too, Hunter, is you do actually have some options when it comes to competitions on the sign up. So for instance, right here, it sounds like Valorant, for instance, you were looking to do on Thursday. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So with that, we do actually have a Texas specific regional league that we do in partnership with a nonprofit where it is Thursday at 5 p.m. So that may help a little bit with that specific situation. I think the big thing is we'll just have to look and see which leagues specifically work best for you, at least for the spring season. And this
Yeah.
high school one, that's kind of our standard schedule. So across the board, for the most part, it's going to be like that. But we do also have this one in Texas called TechSF, where you have some different options as far as game days.
Yeah,
So
and
I
I
hope that helps
understand.
to answer your question.
I'm actually super familiar. I've been working in esports for 10 years. So I'm
Okay,
super
cool.
familiar with Play Versus, and I'm very, very familiar with TechSeth. Um, and so I do know that. But I also like, I don't know, maybe this is a TAPS question, but typically from my understanding working with TAPS is that we do everything under the TAPS banner. And TAPS kind of runs and has like the final say. So at the end of the day, like if I don't know, like I have another question about middle school playing Fortnite. Like I don't know if my middle schoolers will be able to play Fortnite because I don't know if we can compete under TAPS as high schoolers. So that's another team that I would have to say, hey, sorry, we don't have any games that are offered that one you guys want to play, or two are on consoles that you guys have. Um, and is their season over as well? And again, I know you said this is moving very quickly, but that's moving very quickly on our end. Unless that this Play versus Vanta merger was pushed through in like a matter of days, y'all have known about this for a long time, and it feels like we have been blindsided as schools and as TAPS for not being, we've been blindsided and are now, hey, your whole schedule's changed. You have 2 weeks to sign up. We're pushing back the sign up date, but if you don't sign up in time, you're taking a loss for that first day, that first week, or you're moving your bye week from your spring break where students have already, made plans with their families, or you're taking a loss that week because you can't field a team that week. And again, it just doesn't make much sense. And at the end of the day, like us as coaches and directors of esports are the actual ones that have to have the conversations with our students of making sure that we have to have the conversations with them and saying, hey, your season's over if you can't do this and it's out of our control. And you only have 4 years of high school. These are times you can't get back. After this, they may not compete in esports ever again. Some want to go off to college and compete, and some after working in college, some players just aren't good enough. Like it just is what it is. So like it feels like the turnaround being this quick, and it feels like we haven't been supported very much within these past like week and a half of us knowing this. And then everything feels very rigid. I understand you say like you're working with us to make things the same, but it feels like if you and Vanta have been working on this merger for a while, that on y'all's end, it wasn't brought up or like thought about how you're actually going to affect these leagues that you're bringing in with these high school students that don't have the flexibility of changing their schedules around as much as possible. So it's just something I'm very worried about. Because I truly care and I want these students to compete. And I know we were with Play Versus like 3 years ago, two or 3 years ago. And we were promised in-person events and those all fell through. They even fell through Avanta. And it's just been like a really big goal of mine is to hopefully get my students to play in person. Because when I was coaching collegiately, that's like the best memories I have is playing in person with my players. And seeing like how that affected them, how they grew as people, team members, and things like that. So I just am very worried, and it feels like there wasn't much consideration for TAPS or for our students in general in the merger or like going forward.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good piece of feedback, and I will be like pretty transparent with it. This was something that a lot of us didn't know about, to be totally candid. So I think with this season specifically, what we're trying to do is just put us in the best position to set a foundational side for what the future of esports with TAPS looks like. And unfortunately, we're getting pretty close to the season. So I think with that, we're trying to do the best that we can. And one thing that I can do after this is I can go get back with my team and see if there is any more flexibility. So I think one of the big things is we'll continue like over the next week or so as we lead up to enrollment to see where we can help in certain situations too.
Okay, so I guess they like Play Versus your boss or above you didn't tell you like, or didn't give any of y'all any warning on this merger or anything?
I think it depends. So, I mean, some people were looped in, and the greater part of us like are working towards it. So we're just trying to make the best of it, at least for this first season. So,
Okay.
Hey guys, let me just jump in here real quick. I know this is uncomfortable for all of us. It's been a little different. It is very quick, and I get that. But right now, we're going to have to roll with what we're doing. Send questions to info@taps.biz. I'll get back with Jacob too. He's going to work with this. We're going to try to make this the best season we can. We are trying. So better than just saying, hey, there's no esports season at all, which, I didn't think anybody wanted that. So if y'all could just bear with us while we work through these changes, we're going to work and see what we can do and do what's best for all of us. So just hang in there. If you have difficult questions like that, send those to info@taps.biz and I'll get with Jacob.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
I
Rhonda.
did send that information to info at TAPS. And I was just told to come to the meeting and ask questions. So that's why I was following it up here.
Awesome, thanks. And I think Hunter too, like we're open to feedback. So if there's anything like specifically that you're looking forward for the next season, feel free to send it over to me too. And just to highlight Rhonda, I think the big thing here is we're trying to ensure that there is a season this season. And that's one of the big things that I know that my team has been standing up for to make sure that we can make it happen with TAPS. So is there anything else that y'all can have or y'all have as far as just like questions, things you think you need as far as the sign up process or anything on that? Okay, we'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks again for everybody for joining. If there is anything that you need specifically for your school, please reach out to me. This is something we're really excited to work on for this season. And if there's anything that you need, I work directly with all the Texas schools. So I'll be working with TAPS for the next couple weeks just to make sure the season is as smooth as possible. So anything that you want to say, Rhonda, or any of the TAPS team before we jump off?
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Rhonda, and thank everybody for being here today. Once again, we're going to make this recording available on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/tapsbiz. There's going to be a link on the esports section of the TAPS website, but that link might not appear for a day or two. We've got regional swim tomorrow and several other events coming up. And with the ice, we've all been kind of scattered around up here. So that is coming. And if you have questions, again, direct those to either Jacob or the TAPS office at info@taps.biz. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, everybody. And you enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.